Hello everybody and welcome back once again to another edition of Inside the Headset. Here we are, second round of the playoffs, and I'm with the head coach of the Oakland Patriots, Coach Kevin Creasy. Coach, second round, you're right now 10-1, looking to be 11-1, hopefully. Got to play your first Friday night playoff game in 6A and win against William Blount. Was able, I thought the role is right now, one's going to be the hammer and the other one's going to be the nail, and seemed like, even though he did strike quick and he did complete a quick score, but from then on out he didn't have much of an answer. Your boys quickly grabbed the hammer and went into gear.
Yeah, interesting first round matchup. A lot of different kind of matchups throughout the state, and an 8 seed and a 1 seed. I thought it was interesting the way the game started out. You try to tell these guys that you just can't take anybody for granted, and they come out with a throwback pass on the opening kickoff return.
Yeah,
and I can't blame them a bit. I did the same thing. And they went right down the field on us, drove it right down our throats, and then threw a good pass and converted a nice completion into a touchdown. And so, we've done it before. We've been behind before, but, it's a little different when it's the playoffs and you're behind, because now everyone understands, you lose this one, there's not another Friday night.
Right.
So I think that kind of struck home with our guys, and they kind of got their attention real fast.
Defensively, you looked good. You were strong. You had the game put away pretty much at halftime, and then it was, just keep on going through it. But so you had a little more talent. You were a little bit bigger. You were a little bit faster. You're a little bit stronger. I mean, all those things. But looking at the game, what were some of the things that you said? We're playing Warren County on this, or we're playing William Blount, and you get into that game. And you say, we can't do that in 2 weeks. If you make that mistake, so what were some of the things that you thought, man, we can't do that. We got away with it on this Friday night, but we can't do it next.
Yeah, there were some missed assignments still this late in the year. You don't want missed assignments. You want people blocking the right person or securing the right gap if we're playing defense. I thought there was a couple times on special teams where we didn't have all 11 guys going full speed, and we've corrected that. We've had some people replaced and fired. So, it was good to see a different opponent that you're not familiar with and how you're going to handle it, and playoff-like atmosphere. And, of course, we were in the elements as well. So it was raining most of the night, and ball security was key for us. A little disappointed we had an interception, but for the most part, we kept care of the ball real well. Threw it real well, was able to hold on to the ball when we ran it. So, there was some positives as well. We were real happy with how we tackled. There was a lot of big hits in that game, and we were real happy how we handled tackling Friday night.
Any things that you worked on that game that you felt like, I need to get this done, in the first round of the playoffs in order to get better?
Well, we were able to do some things that a lot of Friday nights we weren't able to. We got a kick right before halftime back, and we were able to work on our 2-minute stuff and things like that. So we learned from that, watching film on that, what we need to improve on, because there may be a situation where we're in the 2-minute drill again. But the biggest thing Friday night was working on getting a lead and getting guys off the field. Keeping them injury free. That was big for us.
So you went down, you watched Riverdale Thursday night, so let's shift. I mean, you didn't know a lot about William Blount, but this next opponent you know a lot about. So you went down, you watched them play Thursday night, Bradley Central down at UTC, and I watched that game online. Heck of a game. I mean, they played a heck of a game.
It was a great game, back and forth, a lot of lead changes, and the thing about it, you could tell it wasn't just the regular season. It was the playoffs, and neither team wanted to go home.
No.
A lot of times a team is not happy with the situation. They're not happy about being on the road. They don't like their opponent, and they're just going to go through the motions. Well, Riverdale, they've clicked it up a notch, fell behind several times, fought back, took the lead. had some big time kicks, had a 4th down conversion right there at the end of the game to win the game for them. And a lot of times on 4th down, you're down 3, you may kick the field goal and try it out in overtime. But they're going for the win, and I think that speaks volumes about their attitude. We are going to put it all on the line. We don't have anything to lose. If we go to overtime, we may lose anyway. So we're going to put it all on this play. And I know that you saw those guys in the huddle. You could tell they were fired up that the coach trusted them enough to run that play, and they ran it well and scored. And because of that, they're playing in the second round.
They've gotten better. I mean, maybe had a sluggish start in the beginning, but actually, if they continue on the same path and they were to beat Oakland, then their next opponent, and then they could possibly do just what Mr. Krager said they was going to do.
Right. Went on out and represent Murfreesboro. That's what they could do. And that's the thing about it. That's what's rough about going through your region again. You hate to beat up on each other during the season and then have to come back and beat up on each other again. But we feel like Smyrna has a good chance of winning. So whoever wins Oakland, Riverdale may play Smyrna again. That's not good necessarily. Smyrna's a hot team right now.
Yep.
Riverdale is much improved. A lot of things went against Riverdale during this season, and they can ride it right now by having some wins in the playoffs. And a big win with a crosstown rival like us would make a lot of things right up there.
Let's get to it. It's going to be a big line battle, isn't it? You feel like?
Well, O-line, D-line is going to be important. Their skilled kids match up with our skilled kids real well. They've got 2 really talented quarterbacks. They play both of them. Their defense is fast and aggressive. So it makes for a great matchup. And, the score last time wasn't indicative of how close the game really was. It was a 15-8, I think 15-8 ball game at halftime last time. And, since then, I think Riverdale's gotten better every single week.
Well, I think maybe during that game they beat themselves sometimes. They get themselves into the bad position with their own bad penalties or just not being in the right place at the right time.
Well, sometimes they're just unlucky. They have some unlucky breaks. Even against Bradley, I know that, I hear their coaches, and there wasn't a lot of people there because of the weather, and they're playing at UTC in that big old stadium. You can hear them. And you hear Riverdale's coaches hollering, "Watch the fake." They're all, and of course all their kids are shaking their head like, "Yeah, we're watching the fake." Well, of course they snap it to the guy that plays quarterback, and they throw a fake punt pass that works. And even though everybody was looking for the fake punt still works. And then they tackle what they thought was tackling, and the guy lands on somebody's stomach and never really hits the ground.
It's fun.
It turns into a touchdown. I mean, those kind of things, you just scratch your head and you're like, man, maybe it's just not meant to be. But, give Riverdale credit. After a play like that where they lost the lead again late in the game, they did fight back and came back and won the game. So that's pretty impressive.
What do you got to do Friday night? I mean, let's talk about what have you been working on this week? Let's start with just Oakland. What have you been working on this week that you feel like and is it anything different you've done from the past? You've been in this run before at other schools. Have you adjusted your plan a little bit, or are you doing just what you've done in the past?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good philosophy on what we need to do. We'll tweak a few things, but you kind of dance with the one that brought you. You do what you've done all year to get you to this point. You played with the people that got you this far. And then, of course, you can work on building some depth and maybe situational stuff where if this guy goes out, who goes in, and play that game.
So you play a lot of what if.
Yeah, you do. And, as far as scheme-wise, we have a scheme in place that we can add to, take away what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, we can replace. But right now, we feel pretty happy with what we got going on.
Going to have to control the penalties and keep the ball away from them and all those good things. How about let's talk a little bit about the crowd, something we can do something about. I felt like, it was raining a little bit, so I'll give some of them maybe a hall pass, but we need everybody there Friday night from both sides. I mean, you want to, regardless, you want Riverdale to bring everybody they got, bring them all. And,
I know there's another good game going on across town. And it's against
At least be one or the other.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if I was in Murfreesboro on Friday night, I'd be at one game or the other.
Yeah.
Now, I think a good traditionalist would be at the Battle of the Borough Part 2. Most people that have been around this area for a while know the importance and know the history of rematches in the playoffs and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a good game Friday. We do want our crowd to come and be in attendance in large numbers. I think that makes a difference. I think our kids play harder when there's a bigger crowd. And of course, Friday, like I said, the weather, and then the weather forecasters, scared basically everybody away. It was a little drizzle, but when you're in the playoffs, you got to be able to handle the elements. So we're expecting a bigger crowd. Of course, both sides will bring it. And then of course, if, like I said, two other teams are playing across town, if you can't make ours, you should at least make theirs, because there's 4 really good football teams playing Friday night.
Well, we know we're going to have 2 living. We know we're going to have 2 living, and possibly could have 3 living after this Friday night. But we're all in tough matchups. Anything else for the faculty, staff, administration?
Well, we appreciate all the support. We've had a good run so far. This thing's hopefully not over, and like I said, I appreciate all the support that we get from our fans, especially our teachers that are our fans that support us all during the week and on Friday.
Well, dealing with kids this time of year and everything, it gets a little jagged with the kids. They'll pull some things.
It gets a little chippy.
Well, they will. They tend to. I got to go do this for so and so. We were in school. We know exactly what to do. I'll be here Friday night. I'm going to send Judy over to the Inferno, but we will get a top view, and so y'all come out to Ray Hughes Stadium Friday night at 7 o'clock for the second Battle of the Borough between the Riverdale Warriors and the Oakland Patriots.